You get a gold star.
Is Roger coming?
Electing them.
No, he's not going. Oh, yeah.
He's, Marlene was talking about this,
Sorry.
secretary, because she's the one who talked to me. Somebody involved with him, so it doesn't sound good.
It's not bad.
So deferred. We seem to be doing.
Maddie, I spoke to
Hush.
Roger's wife, and everything is shut down on him. They're bringing him home with hospice. So he won't be coming. I don't think anymore at all. He's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, when you graduate. 65.
He's got to be in his early 80s.
82 maybe?
Mark, you can start.
Okay, all right. It is 5:31 and welcome to the City of Manistee Planning Commission meeting for June 4th, 2026. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you. Please take roll.
Commissioner Zamansky,
Here.
Commissioner Weiner,
Here.
Commissioner Member 2,
Here.
Commissioner McBride,
Here.
and Chair Whitliff,
Here.
and
Robert?
Commissioner Slavinsky.
Approval of agenda at this time, the Planning Commission can take action to approve the June 4, 2026 agenda.
I'll make
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Shelley, second by Mick. Discussion? None, please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Zamansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Member 2,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Conflicts of interest. Is there any member of the Planning Commission with any type of conflict in tonight's agenda? Please speak up. None? Okay. Approval of minutes. This time the chair can ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 7, 2026.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Bob, second.
I'll second.
By Pam. Discussion? None. Please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Zamansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Member 2,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Correspondence has been shared with the Planning Commission and will not be read aloud tonight. And presentation, Mr. Mark Fetter from the Manistee County Historical Museum.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here again this evening, speaking to you very briefly. Well, when I say briefly, it should be about an hour and a half or so
That's
on
fine.
all the fun stuff that's been happening at the Manistee County Historical Museum. I think most of you have probably heard a lot of this before, but it's always kind of fun to get updated on some of the stuff and kind of remind everyone kind of what we do at the museum. So it'll be very brief. So let's see. One of the things that we do at the museum is that we try to remain as active as we can with the Historic District Commission and all that goes on there. We do a lot of work with property owners, building owners, potential building owners and business owners, planning and zoning, various realtors throughout the community, environmental specialists on various aspects of historic buildings, including research. And that includes, when someone built a particular building on a piece of property, who built it and who occupied it through the years. Those are just some of the things that people come down to the museum, and we try to answer those questions to them. And oftentimes it's a lot of fun to try to delve into all that stuff and try to figure all that, but figure out a puzzle together. In the last year or so, it's been probably 3 or 4 different environmental specialists have come down to the museum to try to figure out some of the potential environmental hazards on various pieces of property throughout the city, and again to try to figure out when a different fire happened or when something happened to a particular building or what was there. That's part of the fun of it. So that's just a couple things that we do regarding, well, it's a little bit more than Historic District Commission, but outside the Historic District Commission, but some of the things that we do at the museum regarding the HDC. Of course, just very briefly, this is one of the Sanborn maps that we have at the museum. These are fun to dig out, and people are always get impressed when you come and you dig out this big, huge book and lay it on the table, and people get excited about that. It's really fun to dig through those maps. Those tell you where a particular building was, and again, you know, potential environmental things and how things looked from a diagram standpoint. We also on the right-hand side there, we also dig through the newspapers. We have the original copies of the local newspapers from about 1869 to the current day, so that's about 150 odd years worth of newspapers. So we dig through those a lot for information on buildings and, again, people who occupy these buildings and so on and so forth. We look through we use city directories that's a big deal. Regarding what business and who lived where and who was where. We use those on a regular basis as well. And of course, we have our fair share of abstracts of Manistee County to help show, you know, the transfer of property and so on and so forth. So those are just some of the things that we use at the museum to try to figure out the pieces of that so-called puzzle when people come in. I believe in 2025 there are about 18 certificates of appropriateness for the Historic District Commission. I spent quite a bit of time, several days, with a historic preservation specialist on the history of the Manistee County Savings Bank building at River Street. We dug out all the maps and newspaper articles and photographs and analyzed those things. That was a lot of fun to do. We also worked quite a bit with an individual on the Division Street properties, previously owned by the War Hardware, in that kind of area there, the building right next to it, try to figure out some questions that they had on those properties. Again, always a lot of fun to try to dig through that stuff and put the pieces together. Overall at the museum, in 2025, we had 1,647 visitors. That's about average for the most part. Not on the downside of things, certainly not on the upside of things, but about right in the middle of what we typically do for a relative year. So yeah, we had about 52 researchers. Again, these are people looking, they say, I just bought a home in Manistee. I want to know who lived there because I feel spirits roaming around the house, you know, one of those things. So we can go and figure out, you know, who might have passed away there and so on and so forth. That type of stuff, as well as people doing genealogy and family history. Just worked with an individual this afternoon, spent several hours with her trying to figure out the 3 generations of her family that lived here, and where they lived and you know, how they passed away and all that other fun stuff. So again, we had about 52 researchers, and always a lot of fun to meet those people and get to know them a little bit. We did several lectures throughout the course of 2025. We did one at the Wagner Center. We were the speaker and the kind of the person of the day for the Chamber Leadership Program during their History Day. We did a trolley tour and did a walking tour of River Street and toured several other buildings, which is always a lot of fun. Gave a talk to the Near and Far Friends, the Lakeside Club, the Old Kirk Museum, the Volk Theater, Armory Youth Day. We spent several hours with some of our local youths, touring them around the museum and giving them a tour of River Street to try to give them a little sense of that history and where they live, which is always kind of fun. If you pique a couple young people's interest. It's always fun to have them come back to the museum and check out some of the cool things we have there. I also gave a talk to the Parks Commission a couple weeks ago. We talked about the history of Reitz Park, and that was a lot of fun to put together. I discovered a couple things in putting that together that I didn't know about. So again, one of the fun things about the museum is you learn something new every day when you're down there, and certainly learned a lot putting a lot of these presentations together. Retaining it is the hard part, but putting them together is a lot of fun. Part of the activities at the museum that I do work with the Manistee News Advocate on doing the daily looking back column. That's things that happened in Manistee 20, 40, 60, 80 years ago, as well as a weekly newspaper article. This is something that my predecessor, Steve Harold, began in 1976. So 50 years of newspaper articles, of thousands of articles on particular aspects of Manistee and Manistee County's history. That's a lot of articles, a lot of time, a lot of research. But again, for the most part, a lot of fun to put together. So that's something that we continue to do at the museum. Let's see, what else we've been up to? Oh, we also, in the last several years, worked very closely with the Tourism Authority to help promote Manistee's historic properties, as well as the history of the area. And so we played an active role in the Historic Sites Walking Tour booklets, which have been around for, I think, about 3 or 4 years now. But people passing through Manistee, coming downtown into the museum are always excited to get one of those and to try to figure out some of the local history. There's also an accompanying short version of that bigger book as well, which is the 90-minute walking tours. We also work closely with the with the Tourism Authority to put up these new walking tour signs along the Riverwalk, as well as a couple on River Street as well. There are several more of these that we hope to get installed within the next year or two, but kind of a refresh of some of the cool topics that are interesting to residents and visitors alike that they happen upon on River Street as well as the Riverwalk. And I think they have kind of a fun, minimalist, sleek appeal too, so kind of neat. We also work very closely with Chief Tom Herndon, a former Manistee or retired firefighter Fred LaPointe, as well as Sarah Herberger at the Manistee County Community Foundation on getting the fire station on the National Register. And we started that project about 2 years ago, and heard in January that we did get it on the National Register. So that's certainly opens up the fire station building for more grants and so on and so forth. So that was a big deal. I also have been working just about over a decade with the Smith family, who have the house at 99 Pine Street, and we worked real closely with them, as well as students from Eastern Michigan University a couple years ago, on ensuring that their family home gets on the State Register of Historic Places. And they did the big dedication of that about a year ago, and that was kind of a big deal, and certainly kind of a unique story there. So we were happy to work with them, and we're continuing to work with them on a couple other projects for that house. Of course, I mentioned the new signage for River Street and the Riverwalk, and I think Sammy Lukashevitz from the Visitor Center was here last month, probably to, I think, talk to you about the Journeys project, which will be going on the Riverwalk. We played a role in doing the research for some of those topics, as well as some of the design for that as well. So again, just a couple cool community projects that the museum's been involved with over the last year or so. A lot of fun to put together. As far as the museum goes, the exhibits, we had 2 last year, early remarkable Manistee women, and what did this building used to be. It tells the history of the Lyman building. And currently we have an exhibit going on called Signs and Souvenirs. Not everybody get too excited right now, but very, very cool. A lot of cool old signs that we had in storage, and kind of cool doodads and so on and so forth, like keychains and Manistee souvenirs, stuff like that they used to have at gas stations and everything. Those things never see the light of day, so I thought it'd be fun to bring all those things out and have them on display, and that's what we currently have on display right now. Kind of a fun little exhibit that we put together. Of course, in 2011, the museum signed a concession agreement with the city of Manistee to be the keepers of the lighthouse, so to speak. And in 2016, we're successful in getting the outside of it painted, but things kind of fell into kind of a lapse there for quite a few years, mainly because I'm a staff of one at the museum, and we didn't have the time or the manpower to do all that we wanted to do with the lighthouse. So I got a call several years ago from SPLCA, which is now Lakeshore Keepers, inquiring about the lighthouse, and sat down and had several meetings with them, as well as with Bill, at the city manager, and a couple other folks, and we decided to all agreed to that the Lakeshore Keepers would be the best fit in moving the lighthouse forward. And of course, they did so on Memorial Day, cut the ribbon there, and is now open for tours. If you haven't been up there, and we're always curious about what's up there, now is your chance. They're open for tours, I believe, every day. So, so we work with them on ensuring that it would be a smooth transfer from that. And as far as the museum goes, we talk about the past all the time, but what about the future of the museum? About a year and a half ago, we started working with Hopkins Burns architects out of Ann Arbor, their preservation specialist, to do a study of the building, to see how feasible it is and what needs to be updated. There's a lot that needs to be updated in the building, but we are in the process of going through that right now, and we just met with them about a month ago to kind of move that forward. So in the next year or so, there'll be a big push for some improvements to the building, largely in the upstairs portion of it, but also keeping the historic nature and historic character and everything kind of as it is on the inside. But just to ensure that the building remains safe moving forward. So that's something that we put a lot of time and effort into, and are going to continuing to do that as time progresses. So yeah. So that's my spiel. Are there any questions from any of the commissioners? Comments?
Mark, did you pick up any of Mr. Gilbert's canes?
We have a supply of canes left at the museum that are for sale, and some that I have stashed away when those ones that are currently on sale are sold. And then after that, it's a thing of the past, which is a shame. But we do have a steady stash of them for the time being. So,
all right, very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you have any souvenirs from the Tautog?
I have like a little port window and a cap that was I think worn by one of the sailors on there. But we have a model there that Tim Smith put together many years ago. But that's about it. But that's one of the people see that little display and they have a lot of questions about. So it's a lot of fun to kind of relay that story to them.
Yeah, very historic ship.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
She was at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Yep.
So, well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's always
for all you do.
enjoyable.
Well, absolutely.
Nice job on those signs, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Those are really, I like the idea that you even tell people where the bathrooms are
Yeah.
and how far away they are.
That's what you want to know when you're walking around someplace, Absolutely. Yeah.
Great job.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, public hearing, major amendment to special use permit at 170 West Golczewski Drive, parcel number 51-155-018-15. If I could have the applicant come to the podium, please.
Evening.
Good evening.
Should I say, I'm Ryan Fitzsimmons. I represent MRK Investment Properties. We currently run a state licensed cannabis grow at 170 Golczewski. We, a few years back, if my memory serves me right, merged these two parcels together. And our current let's say production at the facility is almost in excess of my needs, and with some minor improvements of the existing building, it would be well in excess of my needs. And my partners and I would like to develop the roughly 3 acres, I think it's like 2.88, to the south in a different manner. And I think that's that's most of it. I can take any questions.
Well, I mean, you want to develop it,
Oh, well.
and what type of development, excuse me?
So, essentially, or initially, we thought it would be a commercial warehouse space that we could break off into suites and allow small businesses, hobbyists, electrician, tradesmen to rent or potentially purchase those suites if there's a way to structure things that are beneficial to the city as well as condominiums. And then after the change in the master plan, I would love to spend some time working with the board and the city staff on how we could add a residential piece, which I think would be really interesting in that district. And I think it suits this parcel well with its adjacency to residential properties already.
Mark, can I add a
but-
comment
Yeah.
quick? So, right, so today's review is just to split them and to not keep the marijuana facilities on the southern part of the
Correct.
parcel. So this is essentially the same, it is the same site plan, it's just gonna be split, and then those we will have future discussions about what they're gonna be. If he wants to include a residential aspect, it'll come back to you for that review process. This is just splitting it so that he can continue the north parcel as it's going and future develop the south separate from that.
Okay. Well, it was mentioned in the information here, so I just,
Yeah, no, it's good to bring up. I just want to be clear.
Probably jump.
No, you're good. I just want to make it clear what the
Okay.
deciding vote today is, just to approve splitting it back up and to keep the special use only on that top parcel.
okay. I mean, I like the idea of renting, having tradesmen come in and hobbyists and things like that. That would be a nice idea, so, to me, anyway.
So in the split, you're splitting off 3.7 acres?
It's 2.88, if I remember correctly.
0.88, you're
In my head, I always remembered
not
it
going to be developing as part of your growth,
correct. Yeah, so it'd be non-cannabis operations.
2.7.
These were combined in the initial, so he's just splitting right back where the line initially was.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, if this is the original.
Yeah, and I talked to Molly and she doesn't see any issues with this.
Because I think there used to be 2 lots there before anyway.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else that you can add?
I think so.
All right. Any questions?
One thing I got is, you have a time frame for maybe working on the first building or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, we try to start as soon as possible, or at least looking to put a first foundation in. I have a small construction company, and we're trying to put the goal would be to put at least a foundation or a couple foundations in by fall, if it's possible, but I tend to really push deadlines, and then it depends on how we can line everybody up.
Any other questions from panel? No? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we will open up the public comment on the public hearing, so if anyone has anything, please come to the podium. Name and address, please, and you'll have up to 5 minutes.
Hi, I'm Alicia Boudreau. I live on Jackson Street. I have a petition from 84 residents surrounding Jackson Street.
I'm so sorry.
This is
for-
this, so that'll be next.
I apologize.
That's all right, thank you. Okay. So is there anyone on the split on Golczewski Drive? Anything? No? Okay. We will close the public hearing at 5:53. so. And we'll move on to public comments on agenda-related items. All comments and handouts from the speaker at the podium will go through the chair. Also, there will not be any interaction between the podium and audience. These rules cannot be followed. The chair can adjourn the meeting. You will have up to 5 minutes on public hearing or public comment. So, anyone has anything, please come up. So if you want to come up. Now you can come.
It's just a hair too soon.
Okay. Alicia Boudreau, I live on 198 Jackson Street. I have a petition from 84 residents surrounding Jackson Street and the zoning ordinance that is trying to be passed. I would just like to submit it.
Okay, you can take that, give that to Maddie. Thank you.
Whatever, I can take whatever you got that you don't need to hold on to. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public hearing or public comment, excuse me. No? Okay, we'll move along. New business, major amendment to 170 West Kolchewski Drive. So, thoughts, motions?
I think he's got the right idea to start developing other parts for other options other than the marijuana.
Yep.
Which, you know, I like the idea where he wants maybe like a warehouse type thing. We need that.
And even some of those lots for housing, because how many times have we heard the complaint that we gave away property for the industrial park that could have been used for housing? So
Yep.
now's an opportunity to give a little back, so.
Very true. Okay. Pam?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with splitting it. I question whether residential would work though, as close as it is to the facility. That would be my only,
Yep.
but yeah, I'm fine with splitting it back the way it was.
Shelley?
I'm good.
Good. Marlene? Good. Okay. I don't have anything, so with that, I would take a motion to approve the split, excuse me, in the major amendment. Correct? Okay.
Well, major amendment in the split, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The motion to approve the split for the purposes they want to do here.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion by Bob to approve, second by Marlene. Any further discussion? None, please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Zavansky,
Yes,
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Membertu,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes, motion approved, congratulations. Old business, plan unit development at Jackson Street lots, parcel number 51-146-715-01. So if we could have George come up.
Thank you. I'm George Butler, 547 First Street, representing Tiny Developers, and our board of 7-6 are residents of Manistee and one in Okemos, so we're deeply committed to our community. I'm going to do a very quick review of this PowerPoint because most of you have seen it before. But we consider ourselves to be problem solvers. We're wanting to do what our community needs, and we're specifically looking at this number, that there are 772 new for-sale homes needed for workforce housing. And so we understand that, number one, they should be affordable for a young workforce. That's the greatest need that we're hearing expressed in our community, and we'd like to speak to that. Again, this is for-sale housing. There are a lot of developments going that are going to have rental housing, but that's a staggering number of for-sale houses that are desired between the years 2023 and 2027. We're almost through that 5-year period, and I think we're very short of 772 new homes for sale. And so the greatest need is for that 81% to 120% AMI. Those are the numbers, the prices that we need for housing. And so we'd like to engage that. In order to do so, we're suggesting tiny is the way to make affordable housing for that population. It needs to be accessible also for seniors, another target audience, really the second that we're hearing all the time about. And so we have a large older population and also with disabilities, and so we need adaptable housing. Tiny is building adaptable housing for wheelchair usage so that people can age at home with disabilities, and so that's a part of our mission, part of our desire to meet the specific needs of our community. We're looking for a PUD. The reason is a PUD has or allows for varied land use, and we need slight variations in order to do what we'd like to do. We want to build both single and duplexes. That's allowed in R2, but on a larger piece of property, 80-foot frontage, and we're working on 60-foot frontages. A common use area, which we'd like to provide, 20% of the land for common use. An educational purpose, that is with regard to native species in that common use area that we'd like to develop, and occasionally have displays of what we're doing there to encourage that in our community. And business, this is not to run a shop to sell homes, but every home would be a model home, pointing people to the next one that we build and looking for advanced sales. A second thing with regard to flexibility and land use, our ordinance is after 960 square feet of living space. We'd like to provide that, and actually a little bit larger. We'd like to provide 1,024 square feet, but not so much living space. It's that living space that puts things unaffordable for the 80%, 90%, 100% AMI. And so we like smaller living space. We can do that in the same size of a building, and we'd like to do it with a 2-bedroom with a 1-car garage, or in a duplex with 2 units, still in that same footprint, so it looks like a large house on a normal size lot. Third point is density, and density is measured by the number of units or owned properties. And so there's 6.6 allowed on our 0.8 acres. But really that's just, if you count the number of buildings we're going to have, it's only 5 buildings on 5 lots on that same 0.828 acres. So when we compare how many people and how many bedrooms and all that sort of things, the density is really comparable to say we're going to have 5 houses on 5 lots, same number of people. 2 bedrooms in a duplex or 2 in a big house, what does it matter? The density is going to be the same if you consider density in the sense of how many buildings and how many people. So we're trying to match all those things. The regulation of land development, the fourth point is a duplex lot. We, right now in ordinances, allow a duplex thing, 60 plus 960 on an 80-foot wide lot. And so when we're talking about a 60-foot wide lot with a smaller footprint of 480 square feet plus 480 square feet, that's kind of comparable. So these are things that we're sensitive to. We're wanting to look at the ordinance and be close, but we really need some adjustment in order to do those things in order to get to the lower price housing that we're saying we need for our workforce housing. And a pocket neighborhood is what we're after, not single homes here and there, but a community. And so a pocket neighborhood is properties with connected backyards where you can get a sense of vibe going on, especially for tiny house living. Now, some people don't want a tiny house next door. Well, when you've got a bunch of tiny houses together, you celebrate that, and you compare how you're doing with your home and what's up. Adjacent backyards for safe play. common areas and front porches for socialization, and a native planting as a service project for the people to gather together and socialize over. So this pocket neighborhood is really important to us. It's an excellent location on Jackson Street for these reasons. We have connected properties for that sense of a pocket neighborhood. We have idle land repurposed for housing. We're near to jobs in the industrial park and in the city. We're walkable for a lot of things in the city, or a dial-a-ride is available. And it's easy access for our native planting project. Fitting in with the neighbors, home ownership offers stability. Rentals are great. We need a lot of rentals, but home ownership gives real stability to a community. And if we have a stable workforce, then we have more stable businesses. You're not training people all the time. People have a real ownership in the community, not just in their housing. You have a social front porch and private backyards. With regard to neighborhood, the neighborhood homes are largely about the same footprint as what we'd like to build in terms of the footprint of the building, whether it's a 2-bedroom with a garage or a duplex. And the prices are similar, just as Zillow averages. The houses on that block are roughly workforce housing prices, and so we would be dropping in houses about the same value as what's there on the street right now. That North Commons, that would be the north 25 foot of each lot, 20% of the land. The idea is to develop a native species demonstration park where there's 4 lots connected, or an individual house where there's 1 house separate. Use that for organic gardening and for rest, play, and socialization for people to get together. You can consider that a place for service projects to go work on that property and enjoy that together. The land would be owned by each homeowner, but there'd be a legal easement by deed covenant. When I was last chair, you said, let's not do an HOA, let's do a deed covenant. That indeed is a lot easier to do, and so we're happy to match that concern that the commissioners had last time we met. That's what our houses would look like. The stacked duplex, we haven't detailed that at all. It hasn't been to an architect. That's just our rendering of what that might look like. But it's the same as a side-by-side, only it's stacked with a side entrance. So that's, again, the mission that we have. We want to be a help to our community. We want workforce housing. They have to be affordable. This is the way to make it affordable for the lower end of our workforce housing for 80, 90, 100, 110%, even 120% AMI. We believe we can do that. We want to do that. We want to do it in as we said, a pocket neighborhood, a group of houses together. So this is a great opportunity for us. Last time we were here, there was a request by Commissioner Bob to see the boring tests, and so we got those out to you. And we brought in our builder today. I'd like to introduce him to you. Excuse me. Gary Buren is the builder of Lakeshore Construction. He's a builder of reference for a number of things in our city, including the Armory Youth Project, the Senior Center, the K&D school system. I just learned tonight as we came in here together, first time we've been in this room together, Lakeshore remodeled this room. This was the attic. And so this is the kind of nice work that Lakeshore Construction does, and other things throughout our city. So I'm happy to introduce Gary Buren to address your concern about the wood fibers that are buried on that property. So Gary Buren.
Good evening.
Evening, and thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about these things. And thank you for putting that up there. I won't have to squint so hard to see it. What we found during the borings, as you saw, which caused the concerning question, was the wood fragments that were found. and the ability to either build on them, over them, around them, or whatever, and then what we're going to do to address that. And during George's initial work on putting these places together, again, we're looking at cost-driven building. In order to get the cost down, we had to shrink the building, right? Because houses today, is going about $300 a square foot. Most people can't afford that kind of thing. And people still coming in, I want to build a house. Well, do you really need to or want to? There's a big difference there, and I encourage people to not. If there's something we can do to fix up what you have, let's do that first. The cost of construction is just embarrassing, quite honestly. So one of the reasons or ways we can reduce that cost is to shrink the footprint. A 900 square foot home is actually what I bought when I first moved here 25 years ago. They called it a cottage then. I don't know, it did great for me. But that's what we're looking to build, because that's what people can afford. And in order to do that, we designed a building originally on a slab, and I think that's what brought about some concern. Because we build a slab on top of that stuff isn't necessarily suitable. Not necessarily bad either, because of what's there. Excuse me. However, if you noted, I'm just going to do this, I'll use somebody else's word in the same report that you had. I'll just reference this real quick where it says, the proposed residence can be built on supported or deep foundations. Helical piers would be suitable for support, and those are things that we would look at. That's in the report. I didn't make it up. It's in there. It's what we can use that as well. So ideally, it would be great to not do anything. I'm a builder. That's not something that would be allowed. We can't do that. There are ways around that. We would look to do the most feasible way when it comes, and each lot varies. As you notice on the soil boring reports, the wood fill material is at different locations and different depths. Some of that can be easily removed. We just simply take it out, remediate, and put in suitable fill, bring that back in, get our bearing capacities, in which case we would probably at that point go to a crawl space, which again makes the houses a little more expensive because we've got space, but we've got additional space for storage. Your heating and cooling stuff goes now under the slab instead of where we had it in the attic. So that reduces that cost, puts it in another place. So it kind of evens all that out. Other areas, we can do the helical piers, the 14-foot depth, actually 13 feet 7 inches. We dig that stuff out. We put in helical piers and support on bridge beams and build from that way. So there's many ways to get around this thing. What we would do is consider it per location for the most cost-effective way to build those buildings. All of which are doable, all of which are acceptable. We just simply need to find which one in order to move forward. So that's how we would address it, and I'm certainly open. I'll answer questions as I can if you have them. And I apologize, I'm losing my voice. It's been a long day.
I know Bob has a few.
Oh, yeah. I had submitted some stuff to the city, or the Maddie earlier. My biggest concerns was boring locations 2, 3, and 4 with that massive amount of wood fragments down there. You know, boring 1, I was fine with because there was good soil there. But you talked about putting piers in now. That makes me feel a lot better, as long as you get below where those wood fibers are. So you've got support. I'm worried about these foundations and floors cracking, you know, which is very feasible. That area has got a lot of wood fragments and sawdust. Take, for example, when they rebuilt Jackson Street, Spicer can attest to that, how much stuff they took out of there. It's stuff that has to be addressed. Like, for example, here on your second boring, you get down to wood fibers, the blow count for the testing, 2, that's 2 hits to go over 6 inches. That's, to me, totally unacceptable. You know, I want to see something where we got at least 8 to 10 on a blow count.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we can't build on that, wouldn't do it. didn't propose building on that. When we did the original drawings and stuff, we assumed that like everything else was around, that we had suitable soil.
Yeah, the
On
original-
investigation, we find that we gotta change that up a little bit, and that's what we will do.
I'd like to see what you're gonna put for footings in there and the pilings, but, because we've not seen any of our drawings at all showing what you intend to do below ground. That still concerns me. I wanna see the thing succeed. I see on the latest drawing they provided, it went to, looks like single houses instead of any duplexes in there. That's what it looks like to me on here.
I think that was just a prelim drawing by Spicer with the
Yeah,
The setbacks.
I could like the single houses better than the duplexes, to be honest with you. But, I still wanna see what the plans are for down underground to support this stuff. Other than that, I'm still shaky on it.
The helical piers, as you know, I'm building a building today in New York. We have helical piers going down 57 feet that supports a building
Right.
about the size of this one.
Yeah.
So helical piers are meant to do just that, and when we get to the deep boring situations, that's exactly what we would use.
Okay.
Something that's used, it's extremely common.
Like the other stuff we seen earlier was, it didn't tell us how far you
That is,
going down.
that is correct.
And that put major concerns into my mind, like.
And I appreciate
I've
the
seen-
concerns.
I've seen too
However, the
many-
concerns are being addressed as we get there. We can't build. You can't build a house on something that's not going to support it.
Right.
That's not going to be permitted, not by a PUD, but by the local building authority. And
I've worked on a few other sort of projects where we've had to put, the developers had to put down 30, 40-foot augered in concrete reinforced piers.
sure,
I see where that's,
unfortunately common.
it comes to it. I just want to make sure everything here is going to be good, solid, supported, and not half done. I want something that's going to
Absolutely,
stand the test of time.
as do we. I'm a part of this community too. We're not going to put up something that's garbage.
Okay.
So we take pride in what we do. Again, the original building design, it was on I believe the PUD, they were going to build on slab. Had we known that this was the case then, that language would have been omitted, and we would put, to build
All
to
spaces.
suitable soils.
Bob, if I could
That gets around all that.
make a potential suggestion, if you wanted to include a condition that the initial drawings come back to you as a condition of approval when Jerry gets them for building official review, you could ask that
I think
be
that'd be
shared.
good for Jerry to review it, and I'd also like to see it myself.
Right, and Jerry will have to
Yeah.
review those, and he won't issue any permits unless the proper plans are submitted. But if you wanted to do a review as a commission yourselves, that is something that you could request as a condition.
But we just put that into,
It'd be
As a condition, yeah.
Condition, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see something in writing that the ground is permeable and how much contamination and everything. So trying to make a decision to go forward without all the really, really significant questions about that, it's kind of hard for me to go forward.
Well, this is
But the answer-
the numbers, is this document, is the testing that was done. So how far down they have to go. It's just a matter of as they start the permitting process, they're going to need to submit those plans and,
It looks like a lot, when you get below all the wood chips and fiber down there, it does look like the soil is more substantial, which I feel more better about. It's just that even just on the topsoil above it, I don't feel comfortable. Just because I've seen too many places where it sinks over the years, and I can think of 4 or 5 different job sites I've been to where I've seen these depressions develop over time, just from the underlying surface deteriorating. And we don't want that to happen here.
So Bob, or you would suggest that the piers would go down 13.5 feet?
Actually, no, they'd probably go down about 20 feet.
20 feet, okay.
So you're gonna take them down pretty much to where the boring depth was. Okay.
Yeah, which
puts-
gets past
that puts-
all of that, even into the fill, substantial fill. So,
That puts
And-
a fairly good, real good base down there.
and quite honestly, that's for economic reasons as well. I can do a 20-foot helical pier. as cheap as I can do a 13-foot 7-inch.
It's just the same setup time.
Same setting, same thing, it just makes us more solid.
Okay. That makes me feel better, but I'd like to personally see an example here.
I'd like to see you there when we're doing it. It'd be fun.
Yep,
Thanks, Bob.
okay. That's all I've got on
All right, thank you, Bob. Mick?
I've got a couple of questions, not so much on the construction side, but on the home itself. Are you going to limit the homes to people that are between 80 and 120%? Or is that the market that you're trying to look for? Will it, in other words, if somebody has a 130 or 140% AMI, will they be able to bid on, you know, one of those 2-bedroom garage homes? Or will they be restricted based on your funding?
We'd like to restrict it, but we have to look at what our actual costs are. You can see how this price could escalate for us.
Well,
but-
and that's what I'm saying. If you look, the 80% is going to be really hard, almost impossible.
Yes.
Unless you have some other kind of funding source to be able to drive that down.
Yes, we would hope there might be some other sort of a funding source, but 120 would certainly be our objective for the duplexes.
Okay. But are you mandated to build to, in other words, are you, by your funding source, are you required to have people in 80 AMI in those homes, or can it be market driven?
We have no one telling us what that price should be.
So it literally would be a home for sale at market. In other words,
Our objective
is to, yeah, I get it, no.
be workforce housing.
Sure,
Yes.
okay. And originally, when you originally talked about the 1,000 square foot with the 1-car garage, the 780 feet living space, that you were talking about at one time for seniors, is that still kind of the thought, that that would be an opportunity for seniors to be able to locate into a more comfortable living condition?
Yeah, that's kind of our thought. A young couple, young workforce housing, first-time homeowner would likely go to the duplex.
Mm-hmm.
And that duplex even has a room that we call a side entry. That could also, the family could grow a little bit. They could put a bunk in there. There's no door on it. There is a closet, so that could be a bunk to help them grow a little longer till they get into larger housing. The duplex, the idea is that a lot of people and seniors need a caregiver to be resident with them. Sometimes a family member, sometimes a professional, occasionally maybe somebody or a family member. So the 2-bedroom especially would be helpful, I think, to our senior audience. And that's our idea. Yeah.
But the homes themselves will be ADA accessible. That's something else that we do and we'll have to provide. Others will be more modified as the situation.
Well, on the second floor, you would have to have an elevator.
Oh, that won't be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, those, you'd have the downstairs would be ADA and the upstairs would be
For sure.
not, okay.
Yeah.
And I do have one question. What do you anticipate being your cost per square foot for these homes? Is it still gonna be around 300, or are you looking at something at
We're thinking
250?
more like 250. And part of that is,
227 is the target, but
227?
sorry.
part of that is we're gonna work hard at cost controls. We have people on our board that are gonna be working at that and supervising the site a little bit to relieve the construction company of some of that responsibility.
And my last question is, you're gonna have a model, so will the potential buyer have an opportunity to make any inputs as far as color of paint or any choices when it comes to construction, or is that pretty much gonna already be determined in advance?
If we have a sale in advance, it's hard to say. We might get one built and see who likes that, and beyond that, if we're doing advance sales, someone might say, I'd like this or that. When we say wheelchair adaptable, within those duplexes, let us know if you need the sink lowered or shallower, or if you prefer a tub instead of the roll-in shower. So give us those things and we can adjust to those up front. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Pam?
I have a few things. I'm like Bob. I've seen quite a few houses built and then 10 years down the road, the foundations are cracked and sometimes irreparable and they can't sell the house trying to get out of it. I am concerned about the wood fragments and everything else, and I'm equally concerned about how much that's going to raise the cost of building, because that's going to be an added expense I know that you hadn't planned on having. So I'm impressed with if you think you can actually do it for $227.
Can I speak to that for just a second? It might help you understand. Footings and foundations are built on any house anywhere. That's what we have to do. The difference between building on a slab and building with helical piers is that we drive a pier down and then we build a footing and foundation on that. So the only additional cost then is the pier, it's the helical pier.
Yeah, that's still
The driving of that.
That's still
It's an additional cost, but it's less than the roof shingles.
I'm still concerned with the number of buildings on that size of all the lots. I still think that 5 is way too much for that area. I'm just speaking as, I was a realtor, so I'm knowing what.
It will look like 5 houses on 5 lots.
Yeah, but it's a really tight 5 houses there. I just think 5 is too many. And then I do have a couple of questions about the actual report itself, which I realize isn't anything that you had done. It's with the company I had some questions about. They used the legal address as being on Harrison instead of using the parcel numbers, which as a realtor, there's a big difference between a street address and a parcel number. So it's a little ambiguous there. I understand that was Olson Lumber address, and that just.
We don't have an address for the site, so it could just be that
Yeah.
to pull an address,
Yeah.
that's what
I
they
was
pulled.
looking at lot numbers, I didn't look at parcel
Right.
IDs. I was looking at subdivision lot numbers.
Yeah.
So I looked at.
Yeah, but the working address of where they say they
Yeah,
took
that's-
samples was Harrison Street. So, I have my doubts. I'd like to see more. I guess I'm done.
Yes, speak to that again. I don't understand that, I guess. We have 5 city lots with a 60-foot frontage each. And our present ordinance will allow
I know it will.
1,024 on each of those lots.
We had that survey to define those so that we could do the borings where we wanted them.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know, it's the idea of the driveways being right next to each other.
Ah, I see.
And it just looks really cramped to me.
Okay, all right, thank you. Shelley?
I know, maybe not in this town, but in towns I've lived in, people, there's a market for homes like this across lots of demographics. So I don't personally have any issue. It's not going to be my market, but I know there is a market for them. So I look forward to it.
Is that it?
Yeah, you talk about a single small house. Then you talked about duplexes. Then you talk about a house with a garage and that. Is this gonna be a mixture, or is it gonna all be little bitty homes? And then you wanna charge an HOA. If they're so small and there's no yard or hardly anything, what is included in that HOA?
When I was last here, you asked to eliminate the HOA, which we've done. We simply put the commons into an easement in the deed. So it's a deed restriction that allows an easement. We have designed our project with one house that's 2-bedroom and a garage. That's on lot number 13. Then we have 3 lots together that would be duplex. And then a 4th lot next to that, there will be a stacked duplex. So that's what we've designed, and that's what we're requesting. 1 2-bedroom house with a garage, 3 side-by-side duplexes, and 1 stacked duplex. So that was our request.
I got one, speaking of deeds, I know one of the concerns that has come up when we talked earlier was somebody buying the home and turning it into a vacation rental. Is that going to be in the deed, that they would be not allowed to have a vacation rental on those properties?
Yeah, I already submitted the essentials in that. One is the commons area, and the second is absolutely no short-term rentals ever. And we might go further than that to talk about not rentals. These will be home owners. So we need to talk to legal counsel to see how far we can go and how to word that. That would be our objective. We want to see homeowners in these. We don't want to see anything for rent by.
And I think that's one of the concerns of the neighborhood is they don't want people to be coming in every week or every 2 weeks in that kind of a tight space. And,
right.
So that's very helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely no short term. And I've seen statements such as there can never be a rental except if the homeowner is in a financial bind. So for a period of time, if they need to rent out their house while they're finding another location, those kind of statements, that's what I would be looking for.
But not short-term period ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We wouldn't want, or the neighborhood wouldn't want transient people in. Makes sense, so.
Exactly, or people living that close and being partiers next door, just that close, yeah. We still have a 10-foot setback, but nonetheless, it's tight living and it's meant to be a community, a pocket neighborhood. We don't want to have that kind of disruption in a pocket neighborhood.
Maddie, could you put this drawing up, if possible, that you...
Well, you know, just one comment is, Manistee is pretty used to tight living.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have hundreds and hundreds of homes, so the tiny home concept and the tight living is not new to Manistee. We have whole sections of our community where there's 10 feet between one house and the other, and they're on between 40 and 60-foot lots. So not uncommon at all in our city. I mean, we probably invented tiny homes in Manistee, so.
Yeah,
But it's a new, you know, like I said, a new concept. Now, I looked in that area and there are already duplexes. I don't know, I didn't see the size, but I would guess that the duplex that's on the corner of Monroe and Washington is probably about the same size that you're looking at building.
That's also on a double lot.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the size
Yeah,
of.
but I mean, for the space wise,
Yeah.
that's on a double lot. So there is more space available for that have been put in there.
But it's also very shallow.
It's a very shallow one, yes, but it's still,
It's, yeah, the street wide is longer, but the backyard is probably 40 feet.
it's more,
Is it?
yeah, I surveyed it.
Okay, so 60 probably.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Okay, so it's still comparable, it's just that it's sideways instead of lengthwise.
But it is that parcel itself actually has more square footage than each of these lots.
But what I was making the point was
Yeah.
that the small duplexes are already in the neighborhood.
Right, some of this goes back to way back when the city was first platted, when you have all these small lots where people built that way.
Sure.
And as time went on, they changed the ordinances where you had to have more. Now it looks like we're slowly moving back to what it was in the early 1900s for size of parcels.
And I'm sure cost was part of the factor why there were small lots back in
No.
18 and 19.
No, it was profit on the developer. Yeah.
Well, my house on Quincy had a 30-foot wide lot.
I don't object to the small houses. I really don't. And we do need it. It's just, I'm not sure this is the right spot for it, is what I'm concerned with. Given what's under the ground.
I think the location-wise is as good as you're gonna get, because there's not any other space that's as walkable as that area to man, to the
It's not
downtown.
as walkable. There are other lots, but they're, yeah.
But they're smaller too, the other ones that
Some
I,
of them are smaller.
We're kind of space poor,
Yes.
and
we are.
Yeah.
so, I don't know, is there an opportunity to just put all single-family homes in that? Rather than duplexes?
Yes, there is, but we wouldn't be hitting the full of our workforce housing. If we're building the 2-bedroom, 1 garage, single homes, we would hit the 120% AMI, but we wouldn't be close to 80 or 100. So again, others are going to be building for a nicer profit than what we're after. And who's going to reach that 80%? Who's going to reach 100% for home ownership? When we look at stats from Mishta, they say who can afford housing, who can afford rent, and who can afford to own. Nobody in 100 to 120% can afford to own a home. That's what Mishta says. We go, no, you're wrong. You're thinking about a big home. You cut that in half, we can sell a person a home. They can have a start. They can build their investment. They can, instead of being subject to rents that go crazy on them, or they're already crazy, you can pay a mortgage for that. You can begin to own and secure the price in your mortgage instead of a rent that's going to keep on going up. We've got the way to meet the need of our workforce housing. I don't know where that's being spoken about. I hear it here and there. Up in Frankfurt, they're doing some nice work. Benzie County, I'm hearing some things, but how are we going to get this done? Tiny's the way to go to meet the home ownership desire of these people. And the rental, we already have rentals in the city that are 450 square feet. They're here and there in the major condominiums, so they're here and there. The bed is in the living room and then in the kitchen. They're all together. There's just one room and in the bathroom. So these things exist here and there around, but boy, we've got to get at it if we're going to provide for this target audience. We're here to problem solve. So I've been with people that go, oh, I'd never live in a house like that. And so they're rejecting it. Well, we're not talking about you. My goodness, we're not talking about you. We're talking about people that need a chance, And it's not a penalty either. Some people would love to live in 500 square feet. I'm talking to them, just saying, hey, when's that available? I want tiny. I don't want stuff. I want freedom. I want to vacuum my house in 5 minutes, and I want to go travel, or I want to take care of my education. People want tiny for any number of reasons, but especially for the income and for the workforce that we're after. So,
Well, I like the idea of having a crawl space for storage. I know that's a concern about the neighborhoods, having outside storage. And things blow around. I know it can happen in each and every neighborhood in town or anywhere. Is it a possibility to have, even with the helical piers, to have a crawl space?
Yes.
You can. Okay. Is that something that Tiny would do? Would that,
It might be preferred, yeah, in this particular location,
okay,
because we've got to do so much excavating to get through wood fibers. So, yeah, absolutely.
That's what we were saying, it's just, sometimes it just makes common sense, we gotta take it out, leave it out,
yeah.
leave the crawl space. So it's
And-
economics.
And I know I can't nail you down on specifics, but crawl space, what are you talking? 48, 50 inches? You don't really bang your melons, when you go down there, so,
Yeah, I prefer for at least 48.
okay, all right. That would take care of storage needs. And in the city, we already have no temporary structures in the city. There was a picture here submitted up in Traverse City that in a almost a duplex area that has temporary storage, almost like a tent for storage, and which we don't want. Nobody wants that here. I would be knocking on your door if that happened. So, but we have that, and I'd love to see that in the covenant.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Also, just to react with realtors, we have a realtor on our board, and she says, I can sell anything you can build.
Well, yes,
I can sell anything you can build.
believe me, I have sold houses that,
And,
but that's not my question. My concern is, I am much more in
Density.
favor of crawl spaces. My concern is putting those foundations in and cracking, settling happen, and something structural that, if it's bad enough, it could affect the house next door since they are so close. Or if they cannot live in that house anymore, then they're not able to sell it again. So that's my concern.
absolutely, so we'll put in a agreement right now with you that we'll have at least 48-inch crawl space. And certainly going down deep enough to build on,
Suitable soils.
And,
yeah, good soils.
I'm just wondering, the extra cost of the excavation that's gonna have to happen, and if that's gonna,
I'm sorry, my hearing aids aren't reaching you.
the extra cost for the excavation,
Yes,
and, because you're saying 227 per square foot, well, that excavation's gonna bump that up some. I just don't know if you're gonna hit that 225 per square foot.
we're not, that's our target, I'm saying 250.
Target, and
Saying 250,
I've also built a house and I know how things escalate rather quickly.
yeah, yeah.
How many, because I'm naive to this, but how many piers would you be dropping in per house? Yeah. Are they just corner piers, or are they?
They're spaced, depending on the subsurface soil, what kind of compaction, compression that I can get. Probably they would be on 8-foot piers.
Oh, okay,
Just a guess, 8 to 10.
all right,
Might go as far as 12.
okay, all right. I didn't know, so,
I just want to add again that Jerry will review all the plans, and this is not by any means issuing a building permit for these to go up. And I think it's safe to ask that the plans be brought back to you as they're prepared, but, that is going to be a further step in this process. And Jerry, if Jerry's uncomfortable approving something, he won't approve it, or he'll get a third party that he trusts to do that.
Yeah.
all right.
And usually more excavation is not a terrible expense, because the cost is getting them there to start digging, so if they have to dig deeper.
But if they have to put in additional new fill,
But that would, well, yeah, well, but again, I think his idea is removing, not so much
Huh? They're-
bringing in, other than
And that's all.
to build the, because he's going down 48 inches now, so.
But that's not what this
Yeah,
is.
and they'll have some of the soil from the excavation getting down to the wood chips.
Right.
With the 48-inch crawl space.
Yep.
They'll have some of that dirt available.
Yep.
And George, are you, you're doing these one by one?
Or are you gonna try to get them as many as you can at one time?
We're really thinking one at a time. What we propose in terms of speed would be that, first of all, we need sewer.
Right.
Whenever sewer is in and we get going, one within a year, and then maybe two, and then maybe two. We'll have to see how that runs.
You may have to look to see what would be more cost effective if putting multiple sewer leads in at one time when you have the equipment in there instead of individually, because each time you come back up, you get remobilization costs.
We are definitely looking at that right now, and see what it takes just to put in all the leads right from the get-go.
Right, at one time.
Scale one time, get it done, tear it up one time, put it back together.
Yep. All right. Any other questions? And if we could have Mr. Lucas Richardson come up.
Lucas Richardson, Spicer Group, city engineer record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Robert?
Yeah. I think they covered a lot of the stuff. You and I discussed otherwise about all the soils that are down there. You gave me some pretty good feelings about stuff on that. Him talking about those piers makes me feel better. I'm hoping that works out. And, my main concern is as long as you guys are very comfortable with it, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I think it's important to just reiterate, this is totally planning and zoning type approval, right? It has nothing to do with what they're building on private property, any of that for approvals right now. It's,
Right.
all of that's still got to go through Jerry. I mean, right here, you're seeing a concept plan for utilities and, even the discussion that was just had about sewer laterals. There's still a lot to be designed on there that.
I like to be the devil's advocate on some of this stuff, just get people thinking about stuff.
Right.
More than anything else, my line of work I'm in, I'm used to kind of stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's gonna ring through my head, not necessarily anybody else, but I'm gonna come up with questions to ask. Even if it's not under our jurisdiction, but I'm gonna ask these questions.
Right.
So somebody's aware of what's going on. And it may be something just enough to jog another group saying, oh, we didn't think about that. That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'd say, at this point, it seems as though the builder and the developer have invested enough into concepts and planning to where, taking it further could be counterproductive if it's denied. So I think that's, all of that is yet to happen for design and approvals. And
Yeah, like I said, I just like to play devil's advocate on some of this stuff. And
yeah, I guess one thing to, add, so I was actually the on-site engineer when we reconstructed Jackson Street 5 years ago. So we did haul out all of that wood and rebuilt the road that way. And actually at the time, I believe either the owner of these parcels or maybe it was just the one in between that is not in this batch here, actually hired the contractor to grade out their site. So I don't know if they dug any out when they did that, but I know that did happen when we were out there. But it could have been just leveling out the surface as well.
So how much did you take out of Jackson?
There was like 13 feet.
Okay.
13 feet, yeah.
All right.
But you were also replacing the sewers and
Yeah,
all the infrastructure underneath, so.
Yeah, there's actually no sewer on Jackson Street until the top of the hill, which is about to the very last easterly house there, and then that goes down to US 31, and then there's sewer along Washington Street. What we did on Jackson was we replaced the water main.
Okay.
So water main's about 5.5, 6 feet deep, and then the storm sewer, we built new storm sewer. So that's why we hauled out this.
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
it
so
was.
there's no sanitary there right now. So
the sanitary that's shown as connecting to is at the top of the hill, all the way to the east there.
Top of the hill, okay.
Yep. Yep,
You
so-
wouldn't, you wouldn't need any type of lift station for anything because it is on a rise at all?
Well, I think there's still some design that's gotta happen on that. There is ways that can be done, you know, grinder pumps or a force main is probably a dramatic end of that, but, and then if the consideration is slab on grade and hauling out the material, you could do gravity, but it's gonna be shallow.
Okay. Any other questions? Shelley? Marlene? No? Thank you, Lucas.
Yep.
So, quite comprehensive. Any other discussion on this?
No, I think it's a good plan. I think the opportunity is like a lot of things, you know, if we don't allow people to make investments and take risks, we never go anywhere. And I think this is a pretty reasonable risk. My biggest concern is knowing with Habitat for Humanity, finding the people in the 80% is not easy anymore. That can get a mortgage. It's especially without assistance and without the kinds of training and things and working them way through, and second mortgages and things like that is going to be a real challenge. I can see that that said, I think there's a lot of requirements for workforce housing for people that are making above the 80 and 120 AMI. We have people coming to Manistee that are making, you know, $80,000, $90,000 that are in the same boat as the guys that's making 50. There's no place to live and there's no place to rent. So I think they'll sell.
They'll sell.
Especially when you don't, you know, again, that's why I kept asking, if you are restricted to sell it to 80, then I think you may have a real challenge. But as long as it's your goal to try to find homes for the people at 80%, I think that it's a worthwhile goal.
Okay. Well, with that, I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the development with the stipulations that everything gets submitted to Jerry for approval. And if there's anything that doesn't meet Jerry's approval, then they're going to have to come back with solutions.
I have a list of conditions from site plan review, if you want to read those off too, in the memo in front of you, or I can pull them up.
Can you pull those up?
I don't know if they made it in the packet, because I was gone when the packet was made.
And I would also in the PUD, although he had already addressed it, I'd like to make sure that the PUD does say that there were no vacation rentals and it would be deeded as no vacation rentals.
It's in that covenant that she.
Yep.
Mark, I'd like to add just one thing. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but we shared the concept plan that you and Maddie have seen most recently that originally wasn't in the packet. And I'm not sure if that was just by accident or not, but I just wanted to state that and maybe let the developer have a chance to say if that was intentional or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that this afternoon, or maybe yesterday. I just got back.
Yeah,
So,
yesterday we received it, or, yeah, somewhere in that area.
so when I got it in my email, I had not seen that yet, so I included it in your printed packet.
Actually, Jerry did send that to us,
Okay,
yeah.
I have my list on here.
I'll second your motion.
I think you've got it written on there, you've got with the HOA, since there's not an HOA anymore,
Covenants.
you gotta be, the covenants,
Covenant.
gotta be for, in the covenants and the deeds.
I'd like to have the temporary structure put in this too, please, Matty? Even though we do have zoning against it.
I would just include it in the request that
Yep.
the covenants are reviewed.
Okay. Does this meet everyone's,
Did you want the line about crawl space or helical piers? Or leave that to them?
oh, that will be, well, that's a good question. Crawl space, because they said they would do it.
If you want to include it as a condition, you can do that, or if you want to leave that open to what they find as financially feasible once they get going, that's also okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's add
But I-
that. The helical piers
Or,
and crawl.
and/or crawl space.
Based on financial feasibility.
Yeah. So, crawl space.
For each structure,
Pardon?
a crawl space for each structure as a condition.
Yes.
That would take care of a lot of storage issues for people. And like you said, like moving the furnace and work, all the work in the basement down there, and that clears up other spaces in that building for other things.
Where's up the attic?
Yeah.
And you want anything in with helical piers?
And
So that's,
Or is that? you're gonna-
that would be whatever the city, the planning department require, or whatever the city building inspector requires.
You can request that a copy of the initial plans be shared.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would like that, or we would like that, excuse me.
I'd like to see the real plans.
You know, I like to see that mainly because I'm trusting Jerry on this stuff, but I'd like to see it in case I see something, I can go ask Jerry, okay, do you have an answer for this? And as long as Jerry's got it, I'm content with it. But like I said before, I like to play devil's advocate on this stuff.
And we can time it, so it'll come to you guys in a timely manner, and Jerry can still get it and approve in a good
Could I ask,
process.
Lake Shore, Gary, is it Gary? Could I ask one question, please? On the duplexes, one thing that caught me, that George was talking about this extra room that you could use for bunks. Is it code to have windows for,
Yes.
If it's considered a bedroom, it has to have a window in it,
okay,
yes.
but he was talking like, okay, you may use this as a room, spare bedroom.
We'll have that discussion later.
But it is, windows are code, okay.
You would have, yeah, either
Okay.
have a window there or you'd have. to
I just
build
want
a
to,
window.
like Bob, I want to cover the bases and
Yeah,
make sure
they're-
it's
they're
okay.
minimum-
You gotta meet all the building codes.
Minimum square footage requirements for the bedroom as well as
Two
light
exits.
egress and many other things.
I'm trying to stick something in.
But, okay, thank you. I just, like, again, cover the bases, so. Okay. We ready to move forward? Yea or nay on a vote?
I like everything.
Conditions?
Yes,
Yep, with the condition.
I like everything Maddie's got on
Okay,
here.
so there was motion by, was it
Well,
Bob?
Yeah.
Second
Mick?
by Mick. Further discussion? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Zamansky,
Yes,
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Membertu,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
No,
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Okay, motion approved. Okay. Move along to public comments and communication. If anyone has anything, please come to the podium, name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes.
Name's Randy Papera, 221 Washington Street. First of all, I want to thank you for, you guys asked a lot of good questions, you know, looking at, you're not just going through it, you're asking the right question. But, you know, I still have a lot of concerns about putting 2 gallons of water in a 1 gallon bucket. You brought up the fact that there was a duplex right there. I live right next to it. But there's not 4 of them stacked next to each other with 6 feet between them or whatever, you know, I mean, I just don't think the duplex thing just doesn't even fit the neighborhood at all. Now, like I said, if they put 5 2-bedroom homes there, it'd be great. You know, I mean, I think that's a positive thing. But now all the sawdust and stuff, that's not gonna help them with their affordable housing. And I don't agree with this pocket neighborhood thing, because I don't know about you guys, but, you know, when I come home from work, I'm not necessarily, I love my neighbors, but that doesn't mean I wanna sit on their lap on the porch, you know? And then as far as that concern about all the, you know, the housing needs, there's gonna be 288 apartments opening up in Parkdale. They're planning another apartment building across from the hospital. So and there's gonna be apartments, above the Northern Hotel. I'm also questioning this bore testing, and now they've made the comment about pillars. That's a big deal. That changes the scope of everything. But they put, you know, they bore tested 1 on each lot. If you look where the bore test was, you go 20 yards over here, there's a big sinkhole. You know, it's like they almost purposely didn't drill where the holes are sinking. How much sawdust is under there? You know, I don't know. And then the wooded lot, it's possible that lot is sitting on sawdust too. Because at one time they used to maintain that it used to be a neighborhood ball field. My dad played on that ball field when he was a kid, my father-in-law. That field was as flat as this floor for years, and it's not now. So I like the part they're talking about with the pillars. That's a big deal. But I still just don't agree with the duplex thing. Just like I said, you're just cramming possible 8 families into it. And you guys know yourself, if I was going to invest in a duplex tomorrow and get a mortgage, and I go to the bank and say, well, I'm going to buy half this house. You know, I can't rent the other half because they won't allow it or whatever. You're only buying half of a house. And how's that all going to really work? You know, that part is really open-ended for me. You know, it's buying half of a house. And then you're talking about all the different issues, getting mortgages and, you know, and all this. Isn't that going to put a complication in it, you know? I don't know. I mean, it seems like the right thing to do if you're going to have a duplex is be able to rent the other half. A lot of people buy houses and rent the other half so they can pay their mortgage, you know? So, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Thank you for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Russ Rosinski, for the owners of 185 Monroe. My address is 1703 Maple. I agree with Randy, or I want to repeat what Randy said. Yeah, great questions, and I want to thank the board. I just have some scribbling I wrote down. Last time I came up here, I talked about all the buildings around this city that need work, and I just think you'd be killing a couple of problems if you put your efforts into those old buildings. It would also help with blight. I think we're almost creating blight here. We're packing so much stuff into such a small area. Someone said something about houses in the 1900s being so close. Well, those are probably near the factories where everybody walked. They don't do that today. There's 2 cars. Wife will have one, the husband will have one. So we're packing a lot of vehicles in there. It's different times. there's more stuff, more toys. I think you're creating blight with the oversaturation of living in such a small space. Somebody asked a question if you can build a conventional home. Mr. Butler answered, wouldn't be profitable. When I was first approached, first thing out of their mouth was, we're a nonprofit organization, so I didn't really understand that remark. First home owners, we all were. I thank God for my first home. I made all my mistakes there. Okay, I got it, bought it. I always apologize for the trim work, but I learned. First homeowners buy fixer-uppers, and they learn skills. They learn how to take. I never looked for a brand new home as a first home owner, and I really think, and I knew a lot of guys at the factories. The young guys coming in and they're talking about everything they're doing, that they're tearing the lats out and putting up drywall and asking questions. That's what first homeowners do. They get a fixer-upper. And I really wish the city would do something. I did something on 2nd Avenue, 230. Chris and I, my wife and I, we bought the worst house. And we said, we're gonna fix it up. Took us, and I said before, it took us 7 years, but we got it done. And we had fun. And we were proud of it, and we gave it to a great couple, and they're enjoying it. I believe it's their first home. And I see he's fixing it up a little bit more. That's just some notes I wrote down. It just looks like we're trying to pound a square peg into a round hole here. As far as the price to build it, one guy says the going price is $300 an average per foot, and they're shooting for 227. Just they're struggling to make things work here, and sewers and everything else. It just doesn't look right. That's just my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. Move along, staff board and reports. Maddie?
Yep, I included a recent permit list just as an update for where we're at for the year, and then also a rental list for short term. We've issued 156 certificates, or we have 156 being processed, and then I have my running list. I don't know if it made it into the packet. No, I just did this one. In terms of enforcement, I brought you, I think it was close to 70 that we started with, and we are down to 12, I want to say. Pretty substantial in getting that number down, and so that's something that Jerry and I have worked pretty hard on, contacting people. We sent out a letter to the initial 70 and have since done some digging and found phone numbers, emails, and we are taking that path. Since we have a smaller list, it's easier to manage direct communication like that. We are pretty happy with the progress we've seen. We're getting closer to the cap, but we still have some wiggle room there for the rest of this year and moving into next year. The ZBA met again last month, and they made a decision on the Wander and billboard. Decision is not a concrete term in this situation. It was ultimately decided, based on my recommendation, that they pursue an ordinance amendment as well as a special use permit for the billboard. So the waterfront district doesn't allow for billboards at all. I sort of gave the recommendation that by moving it, they were expanding the non-conforming use to an adjacent parcel, and it could potentially be amended by changing the ordinance to allow for billboards in waterfront, since there are a number of existing. I don't know if that's going to happen, if they will continue to pursue that. I have not spoken with the applicant since the meeting, but that could be something coming up.
Okay,
And I think that's all I got.
all right, thank you. Jackie, you have anything? Nope, all right. Meetings and training attended by members. Anybody?
Nothing.
No? Okay.
Went to Maine, does that count? I went to Maine, does that count?
Close. That was training, wasn't it?
It
Training
was.
to walk up the hills.
That's it.
We had the NRBC meeting today, and the gist of it was about the Safety Day that's coming up on June 13th. So it seemed like a nice thing for the kids, and about neighborhood cleanups or neighborhood cleanup, renting a dumpster. Don't know what district yet, correct? So, and then having volunteers be there to help people dump larger materials, so. And then on, was it June 19th for the City Hall parking lot cleanup?
The parking lot.
So if anybody is, wants to attend, come clean up, spread mulch, pull weeds, things like that, so. And then the last one is included, Maddie included this, which I asked about, the blight districts. Can you pull that up, Maddie, please? I asked if we can get this in our packet for July, just as a nice reminder, when blight in your district, you can get a hold of the specific officer, and Tim Ball too, so just nice to have, so. Okay, move along, members, Marlene,
Nothing?
nothing? Shelley?
Nothing from me.
Wow, 2 for 2. Pam?
I was just wondering if, what's going on, somebody asked me how come nothing's going on with the Gateway project, and I said, I'll check. They were expecting more to be done with excavation and stuff.
Right, I don't
Yeah.
have any updates besides that they've started.
Okay. I talked with Israel the other day on it, and the brewery, they're gonna be driving, pilings in to solidify the hill.
Okay.
And after that, steel will be going in, so that's positive. The brewery, is scheduled to open the end of this month.
Oh, that'll be good. People
And
are
they
excited about that, too.
have now obtained or obtaining a Class C liquor license, so that will help things too.
Are they going to still, I understand there was an issue with their brewing license from the Department of Agriculture? Or has that been resolved?
I didn't ask about that, but I invited him out for coffee tomorrow. I haven't got a, so I could find that out, if he accepts, so. But, so that's the news on that.
Good. Oh, I had one more question. On the street work that's being done down by the fountain, do they have a timeline as to when that might be?
The man with the no.
I'm sorry, we're planning the parade. People were asking.
Yes. What's the question again? Sorry.
Well, the 4th of July parade's coming up.
Yes.
I'm involved with a couple of groups who are going to be in it, and they were wondering if it was going to be walkable over it, or if there was gonna be a detour for the parade, or what was going on with it?
So there's been several meetings.
I bet.
And as of right now, the contractor's schedule for River Street is to have all of the plaza, is what we're calling it, up to gravel. And then there's not gonna be enough time to get all the previous pavers done before the parade. So the police chief and a whole group of us met, and plan A is to make sure the gravel's all compacted, and we test drive it actually with some pretty big substantial equipment. And then if that doesn't appear to be satisfactory, then plan B and C would be different routes. But we're hopeful that plan A is still gonna be fine. And, but yeah, there's a lot going on down there, as you know. And there's about over a half acre of pavers to be hand laid that are gonna take about 2.5 months to do, so.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah, that's hard.
But that'll be after the 4th.
They haven't submitted a revised schedule after the meeting that we had this week, but we're trying to see if maybe they can spend a week before the 4th and do like a corner of that area that won't affect the parade. The other thing to add too is the police chief, I believe, would like to totally close off that area for people to like sit in that area. So there'll be construction fencing and whatnot around that, although the parade's gonna go through it, but you just won't be able to sit for that one block. Just because that's a little bit more to maintain.
Will that be the one in front of the Elks?
No, that'll be open. I'm talking about the property by the fountain.
By the fountain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the marina building should have temporary access, just like right now. We have built temporary wood access to the marina facility, and I reported that on city council meeting this week, that I know there's a lot of rumors going around that you don't have access to the marina building, which is not true, so.
So between now and the 4th of July, they're not going to demo the next block?
No.
That's good to know.
They are not allowed to do that.
That's good.
That's where I was concerned, is that, you know, from the other parking lot down by the, and then all the way from the Elks would be.
Yeah, no, they're
impacted.
Nope.
Lucas, is that gonna be when it's finished, is that gonna be a drive-through? I mean, just as it is today, driving?
So it's gonna be kind of a hybrid space. There's, the idea is that whole plaza area is perimetered with bollards, and the area that is, right now where you can drive through, will be bollards, but removable bollards. And then all around the perimeter where the sidewalks are, they'll be permanent, so you can't pull those out. But before there was curb there, and after this project's done, everything's gonna be flat. It's all gonna be curbless.
Okay, so the removable ones are basically for when we have parades and stuff to go through.
Yeah, or
events that we need.
and then in the times where there, you know, there's no event or anything, the bollards won't be installed, and then you'll use it essentially like a parking lot.
Right, okay. It's gonna be a multiple use area.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm done.
Nick?
Nothing else for the group?
Robert?
Thanks for getting me the soil stuff. I know I'm kind of a pain in the butt on this stuff, but I know it's not in the planning commission thing. We have to go with what we're tasked with, but just the nature of the work I do, it just bugs me, and I gotta bring it up. Other than that, I'm happy with the way things are going.
Is that it, Robert?
Yep.
Okay. I just have a couple things. July speaker, Maddie, could you reach out to Laura Heinzelman from the foundation? We've just always missed with her, so. June 20th is Dune Jam, noon to 11 p.m. They're gonna have 5 bands. They're gonna start with the Downtowners. And at dark, they will have a drone show, which is kind of cool. So, and a fish boil, and I believe some food trucks.
Fish boil is between 4 and 7, I believe.
That's good.
At
I'll be done with golf.
Pavilion, I'll be down.
I'll be done with golf.
Is that at First, and it's First Street?
Yes.
down that way?
Yep. And then the only other thing I have is,
Same as always, okay.
it goes along with the blight map that we're gonna get, is blighted and overgrown yards. It's almost, it's crazy right now. You can drive around probably almost each block in town and you have overgrown grass. Just doesn't look good for our community. And the other one, garage sale, yard sale, estate sale signs. They're out there, they're in the right of way. I don't know if it's on our Facebook page. Did they put it on?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had Kelly post it, a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Just if they could make a concerted effort to take these things down.
How many garage sales can you have? Some people have one every weekend, forever.
I don't think there's a rule.
There's not a limit in town.
I thought we had something that that becomes a business.
I don't think we define at what point it would be a business unless it was every day.
Yeah, because they don't get a license, so you can have them every day if you want them. So,
I was told you that there is a limit, and after so many, it becomes a business, and you have to file what is that, like, when you work for yourself?
A home business? I can look into it, but I don't know if we define a yard sale at any point becoming a home business.
Oh, yeah, they do.
One quick thing is our July meeting is the second week of July.
yes.
I will not
That's
date
good.
that.
Better check that.
So it is 7:20. I'll ask for a motion to close.
Motion?
Shelley, I think it's the 9th.
I was just looking, yeah, the 9th. Thank you.
Maddie, can I get a copy of that map through the blight office?